Table Talk, day number 26, back here under the big oak trees, joined with my original guest from Saratoga Road to the Derby, Caleb Knight. He came up to Saratoga for Alabama week. I'm very excited to have him here. Quite a day so far in horse racing news. Lots going on, but we'll stay away from those politics and focus on this card today. It's a pretty decent card, not my favorite, but we do have a nice stakes race in race number 9. New York Bred's going 1 mile on the turf course. This is New York Stakes Stallion Series. It should be a pretty good one. Caleb, why don't you start me off what you thought of this race and how you thought it was going to play. We are fast and firm here. The turf is a little bit going to have a little moisture. We got 0.33 inches of rain last night, so there might be a little bit of give in it, but they're still going to list it as firm.
Yeah, Andrew, it's great to be back. I love Saratoga. I think this is a neat race. I think it's a little more open maybe than the morning lines may indicate. I thought there was a lot of ways you could go in here. Taking a look at the race here, it looks like you have 2 horses, I think, that are probably going to vie for favoritism. One of them being the number 4, Dream Central, the other being the number 6, Busy Morning. I think these are both horses that do make sense. Dream Central won each of her last 2 starts, both at times at pretty long odds. However, coming off of 2 consecutive wins, Lezcano sees fit to jump aboard the number 6, who is your morning line favorite, Busy Morning. So there's some interesting jockey merry-go-round happening today in this race. Honestly, neither of those are my top selection, but I do think they make sense. What'd you think of the race, Andrew?
I absolutely love this race, actually. And what I thought was interesting is we have a few horses here stretching out here. And that's a little interesting when you see horses stretching out into a stakes race. They haven't ran at this distance before. Now they stretch out at the stakes race. Yes, some are coming from Belmont, where, Belmont 6 furlongs does play a little bit longer. They do break from the outside of the gate there, outside the stretch, I should say. So you do get a little bit longer, plays a little bit longer with the run up. But you are stretching to a mile here over 2 turns, which is interesting. I was very intrigued here by the number 3 horse, Royal Dancer. Unfortunately, on Saratoga Morning Report, we tried to stop by Michelle Nevin's barn this morning and just missed her. But this horse is stretching out, is going to be the speed of the speed here. If we watched in the last 12 races, you are seeing more and more horses getting to the lead and staying on the lead on this turf course. We got a little moisture, but it is still pretty dry. Looking at the track trends report, brought to you by HRN, available for free every single day, we're seeing that number over the last 12 versus 16 versus 24, we are really getting horses holding speed in the front again. So I'm actually going to focus on this 3 here, Royal Dancer, with the opportunity to get loose and keep going. I ride Ortiz aboard, not the greatest of riders when it comes to being on the lead and being lone speed here, but I think this is an opportunity for the horse to get out and just keep on going. We saw this yesterday. Irad, after the race, made a comment. Danny Gargan told him, be aggressive, get to the front, and don't look back. We saw him do it yesterday with Dakota Gold. I think there's an opportunity for him to do it again today here. Where'd you land?
Yeah, so I'm definitely with you on number 3, Royal Dancer. I think that horse makes a lot of sense in here. I had a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out between which of the Ortiz brothers is going to get the lead in this race, because they're both on horses who certainly want to be forwardly placed in here. But I probably would give the nod to your pick, Royal Dancer, who has every right to stretch out on the pedigree, wasn't beaten badly in her lone route attempt back on May 12th here. So I do think that this is a horse that makes sense, was kind of against the flow of the race last time out in a race that was dominated by closers all around her. She stayed on pretty well to hold the lead there. So I like this horse in here. Kind of to your point about the way the track's been playing, I do think that we'll see if the rain changed anything from last night. I think forwardly placed horses have done well. I also think with the rails being down, we saw it a little bit last week. I think the inside path on the inner has been good. We saw it, like I said, a couple races last week. I think we saw it yesterday with the 5 horse in the last race, who came from way off the pace but did stay inside almost the entire time and had a lot of horse left. Kind of for that reason, I'm going to look to work this 1 horse, Golden Rocket, in underneath somewhere. Horse is going to be a big price. Looks overmatched on paper in here, coming out of some cheaper races at Monmouth. But I think is a little bit better than she appears. I think this is a horse that had no chance trying to close into a slow pace last time. Actually overcame a slow pace to break that race 2 back in the starter allowance. Could be better than she looks, I think. And if the pace does get a little quicker than anticipated on paper, I think she can save some ground, might be able to hit the board at a big price.
Yeah, I think that one's going to be a little more forwardly placed. Jose Gomez, younger rider, apprentice, he seems to multiple times this meet get horses a little bit closer than they necessarily look on paper. So it's going to give me a little opportunity to get closer there. I'd be remiss without making a comment on one horse here that really has me as a complete head scratcher. I don't know about you. The number 8 horse. Let's talk about this horse, the Finger Lake Shipper. Ships in Kevin Navarro to keep them out. Horse is coming from a New York Sire Stakes previously on dirt at one of the horse has me a little confused here. Is this one of those bombs from Finger Lakes that comes in? We see them over and over again in the past at Saratoga when these New York Stallion Stakes. We have these Chad Browns, Cox, Fletcher horses, who everybody's looking at, and we overlook this Finger Lakes horse. Have you taken a look at this horse at all? It seems like it's a mid-pack stalker that has the opportunity to score at a big price.
Yeah, the horse did win a New York Series race last time at Finger Lakes. That was over a good track, but it was going a route. So I kind of took a look at the horse. My kind of thinking with this horse here was that I'm not sure if maybe the connections are hoping the race get washed off the turf, because I don't really see a turf pedigree here. By boys at Toscanova, who's only a 2% turf sire, so not exactly a screaming turf pedigree in here. This is not Connections Anthony Ferrara, over 18, first time on the grass, so probably not a horse I'm going to be backing, but you're certainly going to get a big price, and we have seen them coming before, so I wouldn't talk anybody off it if you really like it.
I'm not going to be using it on any of my tickets. I'll tell you that right now. But it's just this Finger Lakes angle. We've seen it over and over again. We saw a big Finger Lakes horse run last night, ran second in the final race. And it seems like when they do ship, we've had some live ones versus in the past where it used to be cross off right away. There's definitely a little bit there. Last comment on this race. Let's take a look at this number 7, Terra Dancer. Only one start in the horse. Has ran the distance. Horatio De Paz getting a little hotter as of late, stepping it forward. Jose Ortiz, had them out last time, stays on here. This is an interesting horse. This 7 could be something that could be quite a bit of a price. I think that 10-1 is a little bit longer than I think we're going to see this at 5 or 6-1 at Gate Pop.
Yeah, I think the 10-1's a little generous in here. It is a maiden, but there's a couple maidens in here, so I don't think it's quite the class test that it may look on paper. This horse was really dismissed on debut, going off at 30-1, and ran a nice race to get third. Has every right to step forward out of that debut effort. First time start to second time start is often one of the biggest improvement angles that you'll see for these young horses. So yeah, this is another that has a right to improve and may appreciate the second time out here. So this is another horse that I think is very usable and probably will be on a handful of my tickets.
War Dancer. I mean, we have a number of War Dancers, I believe, in this race. So again, you're seeing that New York bred.
That is
New
the
York
turf sire right
turf
now.
sire right
New York
now.
breds.
Well, good luck with your bets. Thank you very much for joining me today, Caleb, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.